trend lately, you'll find workshops and books and articles with names like 5 Steps to an Incredibly Obedient Child. Or even a book like this, Have a New Kid by Friday. Has anyone read this book? So I want a new kid by Friday. I wish that's such a big promise to make. These are quick fixes. How many times did you get parenting advice, you try it, and then you go back and you say, it didn't work. It didn't work. I'll just go back to what I'm used to what I was doing. Because what you told me now, what I Googled, didn't work. Do you know why? Because these are quick fixes. They are very superficial solutions. Someone would come to me and say, my child is lying. I would not be giving her honest advice if I say, okay, the solutions to lying are 1, 2, 3. You know the super nanny style? There's a template for everything. Human relationships and human beings are much more complicated than this. What works for me as a parent, what suits my personality, might not suit you, right? What works for one of my children might not work for the other. What works for my child today might not work next week, right? So, what's the solution then? What should we do if this quick fix doesn't work? As Dr. Shell said, there's no user manual, right? I wish I could give you all a user manual for your child, like a chapter on siblings fighting, a chapter of stubbornness. We cannot do this. They're not machines. The solution is to change your mindset, to operate from the right mindset. What's the mindset? بالعربي we call it العقلية أو طريقة التفكير الأفكار الراسخة, right? So the right mindset. A mindset is a belief, is a set of beliefs that orients the way we handle situations and the way we sort out what is going on and what we should do. It's not very clear now what I want to say, but as we go on in our discussion today, I will keep referring back to the mindset. How to have the right mindset to make better parenting decisions. This is what we're discussing today. So just agree for now that the quick solutions don't work. Instead, you will be a better parent if you're operating from a right mindset. Just leave it there now. We will dig deeper. So as we said, these tools and tips you get on Super Nanny, on Google are very useful. But unless you have the right mindset, they will not work. Okay. We're here today to discuss our worst enemy as parents, our reactivity. So, who do you call a reactive person? How would you describe a reactive person? Doesn't think. Thinks, but like very late, right? Exactly. They act first, and then they think. That's a reactive person. Are you ever reactive in your parenting? Totally changed my life. I was very reactive, but not in an angry way. I'm not an angry person, but I always had this attitude. She made me do it, something happened to me. I will tell you what this book taught me. The first chapter discusses the basic concept of cognitive behavioral therapy. Most of us think this way. There's a situation, something happens, and then it makes you behave in a certain way, right? For example, you say, this person depresses me, right? This place makes me angry. This situation makes me sad. A very simple relation, right? The situation causes a behavior. This is incorrect. This formula is incorrect. There is something here in the middle that makes all the difference. This is what cognitive behavioral therapy teaches. If a situation happens, you attach a thought to it, and this thought is what's responsible for your behavior. I will attach, if we're all in the same situation now, I will attach a different thought to the situation. You'll attach a different thought, a different thought, a different thought. And this is what will cause us to behave in different ways. If we can understand this second formula, It will help you make sense of a lot of your emotional problems, including your anger and your reactivity towards your children. Let's see how. Okay? We'll imagine a real life scenario. Your child comes home from school with a letter calling you for a meeting because he was caught stealing on camera. So they're calling you for a meeting. How would different people attach different thoughts and have different behaviors? One parent might say, this child is nothing but trouble. He has been giving me trouble since he was born. And she will focus on this thought and she will amplify his mistakes. Okay? What will her behavior be? Scolding the child, extreme anger, punishment, right? Maybe something out of proportion because of the thought she attached. Another person might say, oh, my poor boy. He wouldn't have done that if he didn't have such an aggressive father. He's doing that because he's a victim. And her attitude would be, what will her behavior be? Yeah, we'll take it lightly, we'll be permissive. Oh, it's okay, don't do this again, okay? So people behave differently depending on the thought they attach. Some people, very common in schools, they will be thinking, it's the school to blame. The school system. My child is very good everywhere else. Why? Why in this school? I'm going to remove him. Again, denial, and she will not cooperate. The different thought causes a different behavior. Remember when I told you about the right mindset? This is where it comes. Okay? Here, you have to always have the right thought as much as you can, and this will help you find the correct behavior. No one can tell you what to do. You know why? You are the expert on your children. You know your children better than me, better than anyone else. You're the only one who can understand them very deeply. That's why, if you have the right mindset, you can most of the time choose the right behavior and make good parenting decisions, steer away from reactivity, and become more mindful in your parenting. Okay. So today I know that NGS gave me 30 minutes. So I thought a lot about what can I say in 30 minutes that wouldn't be too much or too little. What is something that I can give you, I can share with you, that you will take home and remember and can use and apply? What can we learn in 30 minutes? So I decided to give you 3 images to take home that I'm hoping would pop up in your mind when you are in a challenging situation with your child. Once you remember this image, it will put you automatically in the right mindset, and you can choose a better behavior, become a more mindful parent. Okay, let's start with the first image. I have a little quiz for you. It needs some deep thinking. You can think, you can discuss with the person next to you. A child behaves well when he wants to or when he can. What do you think? Just take a minute and think. Okay. You're changing your mind. Okay. Put your hand up if you think that a child behaves well when he wants. Put your hand up if you think that a child behaves well when he can. Wow! Most of you got the right answer. This is a rule in psychology. I am not making this up. Children do well if they can. Look at this. This is the pyramid of the basic human needs, okay? Everyone on earth, all human beings need the base comes first. If you have the first layer, then you move to the next. If you have this layer, you move to the next until you reach the top, okay? So look at the yellow one. It's love and belonging. Allah has created the human beings with an innate need to feel loved, to feel accepted. We all like praise, right? We all like compliments. It's just the same way you need food, you need water, you need sleep, you need a roof over your head. You still need to be loved and accepted. Okay? So be sure that no child on earth wakes up in the morning saying, I can't wait to make my day miserable today. When are they going to slap me and reprimand me? No child plans this on purpose. A child will do well if they can. What difference does it make then? Is it a very big deal? Is there a big difference if I think this way or that way?
Yes.
Does it make a difference?
Yes.
This is the right mindset we're talking about. Look at the difference. If I believe in my head that my child behaves well when he wants, I will always be thinking, this child is not listening to me because she doesn't want to. She's challenging my authority. So I will always think that my job is to make her want to. هي ليه مش عايزة تسمع كلامي؟ أنا بقى هخليها تروز, and we know exactly how we do this, right? We know how to force them. What if I'm thinking that my child is not behaving well because he can? I would be thinking that my child would listen to me if she could, but right now she's unable to do that. What will my job be? Yes, trying to make her able, try to figure out what's the obstacle that's stopping her from listening, from cooperating, okay? Focus on this word, obstacle, okay? So, the right mindset you have to be in when your child is challenging you, is trying to defy authority, is not listening, don't see a little human being here trying to disrespect me. See a little person struggling with a big obstacle, bigger than them, that they cannot overcome because of their lack of experience in life, right? Your job is to help them. Now the image, the picture that I want you to take home is the picture of an iceberg. What's one fact that everyone knows about the iceberg? Yes? Exactly. The part that you see is very small. And there is a part that's under the water that's huge, much bigger. This is what you should think of when you think your child is having an obstacle, all right? The misbehavior that you can see is only the tip. Your child is lying, stealing, biting his brother every day, just refusing to cooperate with you. This is just the tip of the iceberg. What's under the water then? A lot of feelings, emotions and thoughts that kept building up and accumulating until this tip grew over the surface. What do we do all the time? Say this child came home stealing, with a letter about his stealing from school, and it happened a second time. What do? We punish him. We always want to get rid of the misbehavior immediately, at any cost. We just want to remove this tip and see it gone immediately. This is what we're focusing on. We ignore this part totally. I'm angry. I cannot have my child, I cannot have a little thief in my house. What are they going to say about me? What does the school think of me now, right? So I want this gone. So as you said, we bribe, we punish, we threaten, just want it gone. Bad news is, what happens if you just shove this away? Exactly. Very soon, it will grow another tip. Either the same behavior in the same form or another behavior. We think, my child is very good now. He stopped stealing completely. Didn't you notice he has completely withdrawn from you? He's not talking to you anymore. He's not interested in any conversation or anything to do with you, right? So this is a form that another tip has grown, okay? So what you should do, you should always dig deeper, okay? Focus on the thoughts and the feelings and try to deal with the problem from the roots. So this is the first image I wanted to share with you today. When your child is not listening, don't see someone who's disrespecting you. See an iceberg, okay? Now to the second image. The second image I want to share with you today will come in very handy when you are frustrated with your child. Don't we all have very high hopes and expectations from our children? We want to see them up there. The truth is, they always manage to disappoint us one way or another. Okay. This causes a lot of friction, makes you very reactive. Now, what is the right mindset that we should have when we are frustrated with our children? Okay, let me ask you again. How many of you have more than one child? Okay. How many have the same gender? All boys or all girls? All boys? Hello, I have all boys. Okay, so let me ask you. If you have these two categories, please raise your hand. Oh, sorry, there was a glitch. The computers in the morning will find the fonts a bit messy. So do you have the meticulous, organized, and little ants, and the messy all over the place? Do you have these two kinds in your children? Yes, me too. One of my children is the model, the one in the school. Oh my God, you should see how he fixes his hair and his clothes. And the other one, my teen, if I come home after him, I would know that he's home by the trail of his belongings. Shoe, sock, phone, well, I could trace him to the room. Okay, do you have the athlete who was born running and the couch potato who would not move unless there's food? Otherwise you cannot move. Do you have the conscientious, صوت الضمير في البيت, and the con artist, نصاب? Do you have the cool cucumber, the very cool child that you cannot agitate whatsoever, and the inflammable child who just gets angry at everything? Do you see these patterns? Do you have the two different personalities in your house? Doesn't it make you wonder, aren't you the same parent? Same environment? Same house? Sometimes even same school? What is it then? What is it? The personalities. The nature you are born with, subhanAllah, this temperament you're born with is a very real thing. There is a hadith that amazes me. I'll read it in Arabic first. إن الله خلق آدم من قبضة قبضها جبريل من جميع الأرض ثم نفخ فيها الروح فجاء بنو آدم على قدر الأرض فجاء منهم الأبيض والأحمر والأسود وبين ذلك والخبيث والطيب والسهل والحزن وبين ذلك. Translation. It was narrated by Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. He said, I heard the messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, say, Allah created Adam from a handful that he gathered from the entire earth. So the sons of Adam came like the earth. Some of them are red, some are white, some are black, and some are in between. Some of them are easy, some of them are difficult, some are evil, and some are good, and some are in between. So what we were given here, these little words are just examples. When he says in between, you have a lot to think about, right? Think of the earth. Don't you have the mountains that are very hard to reach, and the valleys, the lowlands that we've gone to, right? Don't you have the very hard rocks, the unbreakable, nothing can break them, and the softer rocks that crumble under pressure? Don't we have the mud that sets, that you can mold easily, and the quicksand? We have soil, the good soil, that is very fertile and easy to sprout with the fewest words, the fewest drops of water. And we have the very hard soil that would need a lot of work until you see the slightest signs of life, right? So your child is not a blank page. Thing is, before your child was born, you just sit here and think, this child is going to be an engineer, like his uncle. I don't want him to be this and that. I once had a mother come up to me and she told me, yesterday at 6 o'clock on NBC, I saw a show on TV with this little boy who is a poet and an athlete. And I am planning to make my child exactly like this. but I'm adding to that some computer skills. Look, I've made a list of all the programs I want to enroll him in. I have a perfect plan. But this is not McDonald's. You cannot order the child you want, right? Do not treat your child as a blank page. But how does this contribute to our reactivity and our anger and the problems with our children? Thing is, sometimes we set our expectations up here, especially if you have that little perfect cutie in the house. Of course, he raises the bar, yeah? So, we have the expectations up here, and what we do is we keep pushing our children so harshly to meet our expectations. That causes a lot of friction. What we should do instead is go down to them and see what they're good at, and then work it up from there. Now the image I want to give you. Remember, what was the first image? The iceberg. The second image I want to leave you with today is this. When Allah gifted you with your child, Allah gave you a seed, but with no labels, no description whatsoever, just a seed, okay? What's your job? To put it in a good soil. Alhamdulillah for NGS. Put your seed in a good soil, water it, okay? You need to keep the soil nutritious, make sure it gets enough sunshine, protect your plant from any insects or diseases. You need to, I forgot what I wanted to say, but it's okay. So you need to just nurture your seed and give it all the nurturing it requires. But then, after you've done all this, you just need to sit and watch what unfolds. A pumpkin seed will only grow to be a pumpkin. A rose seed will only grow to be a rose. Some of us will get cucumbers, or a watermelon, or a pineapple, or even a cactus. Allah gave you the seed with its own unique characteristics, and you cannot change that, no matter what you do. So don't kill yourself over it, and don't lose your relationship with your child, okay? He is not a blank page. There's a reason for this. Have you heard the hadith, كُلٌّ مُيَسَّرٌ لِمَا خُلِقَ لَهُ? The translation in English, when I looked it up, it just says it so beautifully. Everyone will find it easy to do what will lead him to his destined place. Allah has created your child in this life to fulfill the reason of his existence. You want him to be something completely perfect, something completely different. It's not up to you. There's a reason. The things you complain about, we say, my girl is too sensitive. My boy is very daring, he is fearless. He is very stubborn, he is strong-willed. All these are characteristics that were in the seed, okay? Before that, let me give you something that will put you in peace, okay? This problem of organization, the messy house, okay? Are you very organized? Who here is very organized? You used to be. You used to be. You wish. Some people are very organized. Let me tell you a scientific fact, a fact of science. Your organizational skills, whatever they were high or low, your organizational skills, it's something you are born with, and it depends on your brain's ability to tolerate clutter. I'll say this again. Your organization, the degree of your organization, is something you are born with, and it depends on your brain's ability to tolerate clutter. Some people are born with zero tolerance to clutter. I'm sure you all have a sister or a friend who comes to your house and starts tidying up. You're like, my house, this is mine, but they can't help it. They can't help it. They have zero tolerance to clutter. Their brain cannot tolerate it. Some people are born with very high tolerance. Their eyes just don't see it. You know, you send your son especially boy. You send your son to the room, tidy up your room, he comes out 3 minutes later, finished, and then you go to the room and you almost faint. You call him, come here! He's like, what? It's good? They just don't see it, they don't see it. Their eyes are fine with clutter, their brain can tolerate it, okay? So, am I saying that it's okay, let them be messy? Let the couch potato lie on the couch the whole day? No, I am not saying that. But be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with your child. The product at the end is a nature-nurture balance. It's a balance between the tabr, the nature, and the nurture, the tarbiyah. You will eventually get the result of both, okay? So, if your child is 0 on organization, very, very, very messy, and you are a 10, okay? Allah created you this way and created him this way. Do not kill yourself wanting him to be a 10 like you. He will not get there. Instead, watch your seed, understand your seed. Because he's a 0, coach him, teach him, work it up from there. When you reach a 5, give yourself a pat on the back and celebrate with your child. You've done a great job. Do you get what I mean now? Okay, so the right mindset image that I want to give you here is the seed. Again, your child is not a blank page. He is what he is. Okay, respect that and work from there. On to the third image. Are you tired?
No.
That's the last one. Okay. The third image that will help put us in the right mindset is an image that will help you in the heat of the moment. When you are in an argument with your child and things keep heating up, and they say the most annoying word to me is, I hate my life, or why can't you be a better mom? Something like that. Why can't you be like Dr. Cheryl? She is in yoga and she is doing yoga every second of her life. Why can't you just be So when you're in the heat of the moment and they say something like this, everyone has his trigger, right? We just lose it. It's this word and we just lose it. When they say, for example, you're a bad parent, or they say something that really hurts, what do? Lecture time, نعلم. ولا تقل لهما أف. Didn't you see this and that? When I was young, I never did that to my parents. If my father just called me, and we go on and on trying to teach them a lesson. I want to tell you one thing. They're not listening, and they don't get anything. See, right? Okay. And the third image, when you feel like lecturing your children or teaching them a lesson in the middle of a very a heated situation, don't do that. Go back and put your lid back on, and then you can talk when you're both calm. So these are 3 images that probably, inshallah, would help put us in the right mindset so we can make better parenting choices. So my point is, look for this kind of advice. Look for big ideas, paradigm shifts. Forget super nanny is rubbish. The charts, the punishments, the bribes. If you take out the trash, I'll give you a star, I'll give you 5 dirhams. And then what? Please think ahead. One day, they will grow up to be 13 and they don't need your 5 dirhams. They don't need your 50 dirhams. They don't need your smile. They don't want to please you anymore. So just stay away from the quick fixes as much as you can. Work on the big ideas in the right mindset.
Maybe we should frame this and put it up in our living room.
Yeah, this could be a very good
portrait. Yeah. So that's all I wanted to say today. Please share anything you want to share with us. If you have any questions, I have a question.
My first one is, how is this age appropriate? For example, if I'm talking to my 8-year-old and my 2-year-old. For example, my 2-year-old just carries the remote and throws it at the TV. What shall I do?
Your 2-year-old, يعني your 2-year-old, there's nothing wrong with me, and their ability to reach the things is very low. There is something that's called impulse control. Impulse control. Impulse control is simply that model. Yani it's much deeper, but if we say simply, this thing tells you do something, and this says no, stop, wait, you can't. This develops, and I'll tell you, this completes the development at the age of 25. لسه كتير. Okay, so until then the impulse will still be very strong. Whatever they want to do, even see teenagers doing stupid things, right? Because this is not well developed yet. So what you do is, with a 2-year-old, you just have to keep saying distracting ones. Like, no, be nice but firm. Just remember to be kind because this is not working at the moment. With the older one, you can definitely explain this, but don't expect this to work every time because, as we said, this is still developing. Does this answer your question? And your other question?
Okay. So my other problem is time. I wanted to do everything now. I have to finish everything now.
He's 8. Your child is 8.
I have 8, 6, 5, and 2.
Right. To avoid frustration, we have to be reasonable. Okay? As we said, go down to their level, see things from their point of view. I want to go back to the iceberg. Why aren't they behaving? No one likes to be reprimanded every day and have a very stressful morning. There must be an obstacle. To me, as a parent coach, I never give anyone advice. The solution to the lying child, 1, 2, 3. The solution to the late child, I cannot do this, right? You dig deeper. See why. Is it too much? Are they trying to get your attention? Are they sleep deprived? Are they not motivated? Do they not want to do the next thing? You have to dig deeper and try to solve it. Emotional coaching is a whole other story. You can problem solve with your child, but this is inshallah another topic maybe we can do later. How to solve the problem with them instead of always standing there and asking them to do what you want. Yes.
I don't know if this is a part of the same session, but I've recently had a 3rd baby. And I think juggling with more than one kid is always so hard. And I have 3 girls, alhamdulillah. So one is 3, the eldest is 5, the other one is 3, and this one is 2 months. You know, now every time I'm at home with them, it's like, mom, and everybody wants me. So I'm going crazy at home. Even in my sleep, I'm like, mama, you know, and I'm sick of it. There's one in the washroom, the other they want to go to the washroom at the same time. So I don't know where, you know, some people tell me, you need to give each child your time. And it's stressing me out because I'm one person. How can I give each child their time? So can you guide me on?
Yeah, I totally understand what you were talking about because I have been in your shoes for the past 2 years. Alhamdulillah, it gets better. Now that he's 2, he's off my back, but it gets better. The first few months are just torture. Ideally, they say you have to have your